Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Ashley's Light. I hope that you are doing well today. And I want to answer a question that was asked of me, and I felt that there might be a couple of you that have the same question. Oftentimes that happens. And so I felt it would be good to answer the question to give you all my understanding of the old self. So the question was, how do I see the old self? It's talked about by many of the mystics, and the old self is termed in different ways, but some people refer to it as an old state, the old self, former self. Is said in many different ways with the same meaning. And how I've always interpreted the old self to be is to be my past self in terms of past experiences, past ways of being, past ways of thinking, most importantly. Because as we know, our perception, our thoughts, how we see things, they are shaping our external experience. I'm sure many of you have heard the term of our outer appearance being like on the screen of space. And so we are constantly projecting what is going on within in this vessel that we are in. We are projecting that outside. And so that is what we see. That is what we experience. And so the old self to me really boils down to the old way of thinking, because the old way of thinking and our old perception ends up shaping our external reality. So every way that we think things are, how they should be, our inherent core beliefs about ourselves and others and things and what we deserve and can obtain and all of this stuff, that is part of the old self. Once we shift into the new self, or the new state of awareness, or the new perception, or the new way of being, by changing how we are seeing things, changing our beliefs, our perspectives, and our perceptions. So the old self is all about our old way. It can even go into old ways of being, as far as places that we would go, things that we would do, people that we talk to, because whenever when you change your perception, things around you begin to shift. And oftentimes you'll find yourself in different circumstances, which is the goal of that's the goal to me. When you're changing how you are seeing things and how you're operating, the people around you begin to shift, and they might not physically leave your reality. It doesn't mean just because people around you begin to shift, it does not mean that they are exiting your life. You'll begin to see shifts within themselves. They begin to shift because you are now seeing things differently. You are seeing yourself differently. You are relating to yourself and other people differently. And so when you do that, you begin to see those around you also begin to shift without you saying things. I've heard it time and time again, and it has always rung true in my experience, that people will either shift with you unconsciously. They don't know it because you're not speaking it, but we are all of one mind. And so when you are shifting your mind, think of it as a stage being changed. The scene changes and the characters are different. Even though these are the same actors that play They play different roles. And so when you shift your role, then their role shifts to shift with you so that the scene plays out as it should. And so you experience them one way in your old state, and then you experience them another way in your new state or your new self. And so that is my understanding. That is my experience. That is how I've operated when it comes to the old self. And I want to say this, so you know, you can go back and forth between the old self and the new self. I've done it so many times. And in the beginning, I used to beat myself up and be like, oh, okay, I'm going back to my old ways of thinking. I'm doing this again. I need to be thinking about this and staying here. But at the end of the day, it happens. And so I had to stop doing that to myself because it's pointless. It's going to happen. The thing is, when you become aware of it, just stop. And you don't have to ruminate on what you were doing and how you got out of it and what you need to do. It's natural. The more natural we make this way of being, the more it flows. And I see in this work that's the most challenging part for so many people, is just letting it flow. We naturally want to understand things like to the most understanding that we can. It's just how we are. But if we can just put all of that aside, have some understanding, but at a certain point, it is a hindrance. And so that's what I found. And so whenever you just be yourself, recognize what you want to shift from the old self to the new self and start becoming that, it gets simpler. It gets easier because you're doing it. You're not thinking about it. You're not thinking, oh, I should say it like this, or I should be like this. It's not that type of thing. It's just, you just do it and you flow with it. And soon you will find your external circumstances match. In fact, I have found that the more relaxed I am, the more I don't think so deep into it, the simpler it is and the faster the external rearranges itself. It's a cool thing, and it's different. And because it's so different than what we've conventionally been taught in the past, although now that is changing because so many of you and so many more are aware of this, and it's so cool. I love it. I love it. We just have to have reminders sometimes. But yes, back to the original question. Old self is just that old identity, old perception, old way of thinking, old way of being, old set of circumstances. And then you recognize, hey, I don't want that anymore. I'm done with that. That's how I was formerly. And then you shift. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I love connecting with you guys. I have thought of some different ways to try to connect with you all. I'm entertaining some things. And so once I determine what the best way to do that is, I will certainly be letting you know. Until we speak again, take good care of yourself. Enjoy your night, day, and everything in between. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.